just had a passenger brought up from the back of the hall from customs officers. Customs originally also had a concern that she may be holding drugs. They no longer hold that concern at the moment, so they've brought her up to immigration just to explore her language disparity with the passport.
Now immigration officers are trying to gather information about the passenger. It's not proving to be easy.
She holds a Korean passport and Korean ID card. The customs officer started speaking to her and she wasn't able to reply in Korean. It appears that she doesn't speak Korean, which is of concern.
It's a pretty basic principle. If a passenger says they are from Korea, they should be able to speak Korean. And right now, this passenger seems to have no language skills.
I try find Chinese dialect, no response.
Okay, we'll just try a little bit longer.
Okay.
I want to discuss with you the purpose of your travel to Australia. So can you give me your name in full?
It's a busy morning at Sydney Airport, and customs officers are about to face their first challenge of the day. A man who has just flown in is acting very suspiciously, and his nervous behaviour is attracting a lot of unwanted attention.
This young guy is very nervous when he came through, so we decided to have a little chat with him. He's come through from Spain. He's going to see his girlfriend who's here as a student.
Officers have now swabbed the passenger's bag to test for traces of narcotics. And it's a high reading for cocaine. The passenger tries to offer an explanation.
This bag has had cocaine inside, and a friend of yours used the cocaine, but you have no cocaine.
So far, this passenger is denying any knowledge of the drugs, saying one of his friends has just used his bag and probably had cocaine in it. But if the passenger is telling the truth, why is he so nervous? Meanwhile, in immigration, the passenger still hasn't uttered a word.
Can you ask her what language she does speak?
No dialect works, and not a word has been spoken by the passenger, so the officer decides to suspend the interview.
So we've had no success at this stage with a Mandarin interpreter. He also spoke Cantonese. He's tried several dialects, and she's just not responding. It is possible she's mainland Chinese, but she may very well be Korean and just unable or unwilling to respond. Okay.
But it won't be long before this passenger presents immigration with a problem much bigger than her silence. Over 5,000 passengers pass through Sydney Airport every day. Quarantine officers Peter and Andrew have been on the early shift, but this last flight they have to process might take a bit of time.
What about this one? You told me you didn't have any more.
This one, different one. This one, like tea.
Yeah, but I asked you if you had any more plant material, and you say no.
No, not for the dust. For the
I specifically asked you if you had any more stuff that looked like...
You tell me for something to
this
eat
here. No, I asked you if you had anything that looked like this material here, and you said no.
I'm not understanding. The first time I...
You understood me quite well.
George and his wife have just flown in from Lebanon with presents for their family. But after 20 hours on the plane, those presents are starting to leak all over their bags.
So what's in here? Zata? Okay, it's leaking everywhere. I'm about to open it up.
Lemon.
Lemon?
This same lemon. But
the end of the trip is turning very sour for these passengers, as they're about to find out it wasn't just fruit they were bringing into the country. It was something much more dangerous. Meanwhile, immigration has been unsuccessful in trying to communicate with a young woman who arrived from Singapore. Several interpreters have been trying various dialects. There's been no response.
The client that we have with us at the moment is travelling on a Korean passport. At this stage, we haven't had the passport checked for genuineness, but we do have some questions with it.
So officers decide to do a bag search. That doesn't take long.
Does she have another suitcase?
Not that I've been advised of.
Just this bag. This is it.
As far as I know, yes.
She has a tourist visa in her passport, but barely a change of clothes in her bag.
She's only got a couple of pairs of jeans, one jacket and a lot of underwear, no other clothing. She does have cash, which is good. It means she has money to support herself for a short time. At this point, we can't work out what nationality she is, which makes communication difficult.
Officer Barbara is now concerned about the passenger's health.
She's fairly uncomfortable. She seems to want to be sick. I've just taken her to the facilities and she's come out a little refreshed, but once she went back into the interview room, she did appear that she wanted to vomit.
So the question has to be asked, is the passenger carrying drugs internally?
Can someone put in because she's vomiting?
Copy that.
We've just spoken to customs officers that brought this lady up. They did have an initial suspicion that she may be carrying drugs. They then made a determination that that probably wasn't the case. But now that they've heard that she isn't feeling well and is dry retching, they're again concerned that she may be concealing drugs.
The search continues over in quarantine as Andrew unearths some unexpected and potentially dangerous hitchhikers.
Okay, can you see the bugs here? See, there's another one there. But yeah, it just shows the potential of what something like this that's just been taken from a garden. It has bugs in it, potential of what we could get into the country. Okay, this could be pretty serious because the potential threat of any bug that we do get, just us being one of the biggest wheat producers, any bug that would affect a grain crop could really devastate our trade and all that. We'll get the bugs ID'd, entomologists will find out what these are, and yeah, we'll see what harm these could have done to our environment if they had got out the door.
But it's not just bugs that have quarantine officers extremely worried.
Yeah, look at these leaves. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Can you see?
Back in customs, high cocaine readings have been found in this passenger's bags, so the officer is looking for possible signs of a concealment.
The young guy there reckons that the bag he's used has had cocaine because a friend of his used it in Spain. This could very well be true, but we just want to make sure. He's very, very nervous.
After several minutes of questioning, the passenger is still visibly anxious, and this is making customs even more suspicious.
Okay, you have some anxiety now?
I'm very nervous.
Nervous? It's all right, you relax. Okay. The reason that he's nervous, he says, is because he suffers from high anxiety. Well, I would be highly anxious too if I was carrying some cocaine.
The officers need to determine if the passenger's behaviour is caused by anxiety or the result of something much more serious.
Who's this for?
From my girlfriend.
Where's your girlfriend?
From Spain. She's waiting.
She's waiting outside? Does she use cocaine? For sure.
You can break it.
I just want to know what's in there. It's all right.
It's a tense wait for Tony, as the next couple of minutes will determine what happens to him. And it may not be the happy ending he was hoping for. Over in immigration, officers are trying to talk to a mystery passenger who appears unable to converse in any language. She is also becoming sick, so a doctor has been called. Then, finally, the silence is broken.
She's shut down completely. She's distressed. It's taken us a long time to even get her to tell us which language she speaks. And it was only because we were able to get the doctor to come down and see her that she finally opened up and spoke a bit of Mandarin.
Interpreter, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you speak to Miss Woon and tell her that it's much better for her if she just relaxes and stops all the crying and retching, just so that we can go through the processes with her as comfortably as we can.
So now we can communicate properly with us, but she doesn't really want to talk. And it fits a profile of certain people who think that the more they talk, the worse it's going to be for them, because we're going to get that information and work out what's really happening. She doesn't want us to work it out. She's desperate to get out there.
So now officers will examine the passengers' documents to determine if they are genuine. Immigration has been talking to a young passenger travelling on a Korean passport. They've established she's definitely not Korean. Now they've discovered the truth behind her lies.
Just having a look at the Korean ID card, you can see clearly in the background that there's 4-colour dot printing, which indicates that this has been printed on a computer and not the machine that it should be printed on, which makes it easy to conclude that this card is actually a counterfeit card. It's not a genuine Korean ID card. Just going to have a look at the passport as well. Most of the security features do appear to be there. Another indicator for these passports is often if this is not genuinely a Korean national, they will get a counterfeit departure stamp to disguise the fact that they didn't actually depart from Korea. So just have a closer look at that. I can tell straight away that it is a counterfeit stamp. It's of very poor quality. The lettering is quite blurred, and also this particular stamp should fluoresce under UV light, so we can just have a look at that. And clearly from here you can see this Korean stamp at the top does not fluoresce under UV light as it should. But if you see up on this page here, the passport paper does not fluoresce under UV light. And here you can see clearly that there's quite a strong UV reaction on these pages, and this can indicate that this is chemical damage that's occurred to this passport whilst they've been trying to insert someone else's photograph.
Officers have established the passenger's ID is fake, but they still don't know who she is.
And we are satisfied that this isn't a genuine.
That's definitely counterfeit ID card.
Right, okay. We've had a look at your passport and we've had a look at your Korean ID card. We believe that your passport has been photo substituted, so another photo has been put in here, and that a stamp has been put in the back which is not genuine. Do you understand the interpreter?
And presented with false documents, the passenger has chosen to respond, again with silence.
Okay. Do you understand that that your passport is no good?
Passengers arriving from Lebanon have brought bags of fruit containing unwanted and dangerous bugs. The potential for massive damage is great. This is exactly what quarantine officers want to make sure gets stopped at the border. And now officers have also discovered some diseased leaves in the same bags.
Okay, well, these ones, see these ones have disease?
Did you collect those all from your farm back home?
No, my farm, all fruit.
So where did you get them? From on the side of the road?
The bush,
Oh, on the side of the road.
The bush. You put them other one.
Okay.
And this one too. Put them and drink it if the stomach.
Okay. You do understand the job that we do here today, sir?
For next time, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's it.
Yes.
But you can't just bring this through.
Yes, sure.
Okay? You do know you're being fined today, sir?
But next time, I do everyone check up my home and pull them out.
Okay. And next time, none of this?
No.
Okay, that's good. Okay, because this could cause a lot of trouble.
I make it mistake, yeah, I know. And
Okay.
maybe the man him needed to make it mistake.
Okay.
The bugs were identified as dangerous weevils, which can destroy stored wheat, barley and rice. This would cost our grain industries millions of dollars. The leaves were infected with bacteria and fungi that could damage our native flora. George paid a $220 fine for not declaring prohibited goods. Immigration has a problem with a young passenger travelling with fake documents. Now they need to determine why she's here.
At this stage, even though we are going to be giving her a notice of intent to cancel and we need to try to get a response from her on the basis that she only has a photo substituted, that is a bogus document with her, she doesn't meet the Migration Act for entry to Australia. She doesn't have a valid, genuine travel document.
The document that you're travelling on is not a genuine passport. So can you tell me, where did you purchase the passport?
She bought it in Beijing.
What was your intention when you came into Australia? What did you plan to do?
想要玩几天，想能留下来打工打一点。
She intend to visit Australia for a few days, and hopefully she can stay on to work here.
No, you won't be able to do that, as far as I can see at this stage. I'm going to serve you with a notice of intention to consider cancelling your visa. Because at this stage we're aware that you're travelling on a photo substituted passport, so you don't have a genuine travel document. And I'm not satisfied that you are a genuine tourist. I'm going to ask you to sign this now to acknowledge that you've been given the information.
She said she doesn't want to sign.
Okay. So, unwilling to sign.
This is a typical pattern of Chinese nationals using South Korean passports to come to Australia. She would have paid an enormous amount of money. She would have taken out a loan for this false identity and a package to come to Australia to work. If we get her real name, we might find she's on an alert list. Therefore, she needed to have that false document.
While officers try to calm a very distressed young woman, they are now questioning the origin of her fake documents.
We think she is part of an organised syndicate. There's obviously more than one, because it's quite complex to organise the travel document and the ticketing.
Officers checked for indicators of trafficking, and any leads would have been referred to the AFP.
Okay, I'm cancelling on the basis that you presented a bogus document and that you're not a genuine tourist. Now, as you're no longer the holder of a visa, you have been refused immigration clearance and will be removed from Australia.
All she's told us is that she's got a debt and she's so unhappy, and it's the kind of case that just leaves you feeling bereft.
She admitted paying 20,000 Chinese dollars for her passport. That's around 3,500 Australian dollars. She was drug-free and sent home to China that afternoon. Back in customs, after finding traces of cocaine in this passenger's bag, officers have to examine everything very carefully, and that even includes cute, cuddly teddy bears.
At the moment, I'm a bit interested in these teddy bears, which he seems to have a lot of, just in case they're carrying something inside them. So I'll just have another look at them. These are the bears coming through now. They've only got a bit of sand in them. There's nothing there. So that's pretty good.
So far, officers have found nothing, but could the concealment be a little more calculated? And if so, the officers have more than enough evidence to conduct a frisk search. Tony has agreed to do it there in the hall.
Between your crutch, okay?
We've found nothing on him, so we're quite satisfied that the bag was used a couple of weeks ago to carry some cocaine, but at the moment this guy has nothing on him, so we'll let him go and see what happens.
Cocaine can be extremely sticky, so any contact can leave a residue that lasts for months. And in Tony's case, this has resulted in a close call with Australian Customs.
You can't clean it.
My friend used cocaine often, okay? And then used my bag to make a trip 2 weeks ago. And then I find a problem. But now I'm fine. Throw away the...
Yeah, get a new one.
Yeah?
Get a new one.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, see you.
Bye.
Bye. Whoa, what's nice? the best beginning. Now my girlfriend is waiting for me, and I think I'm gonna make her happy.
Customs was satisfied Tony was not attempting to import drugs, so he was finally free to go and was reunited with his relieved girlfriend waiting across the border.
She's my girlfriend, she's very beautiful. Yeah, it's true.